Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the brand new, reinvented, redesigned, but also kind of the same Weatherboys podcast. Hello, Alan. Hey, buddy.
I feel naked. I have no donuts. No donuts, no snack right now. It's a little, but otherwise, I'm doing great.
And we're kind of opposite for, if you're listening to this in the car, usually Alan is dressed down and I am the one in the suit.
I got a tie on.
Yeah, look
Dumb,
at you.
Stupid. I got this hair. I'm getting a haircut on Thursday.
You look great.
It's too much.
Don't you worry about that, buddy. So this is very exciting. We are starting what we are deeming season 3 of the Weatherboys podcast, and we have improved almost everything. Absolutely everything.
We've been doing this for a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
But season 3?
Yes. So
I don't understand that.
Let me explain. So the first season was, in my mind, a bit of a pilot season. Remember, we launched Weatherboys in September of 2023. August of 2023.
Yeah.
We're splitting hairs here. You're like, it's like 10-day difference.
I'll never forget the day.
Okay.
I'll never forget it. That was special in my... Is it not yours?
Well, why was it special to you?
Well, because it was the first thing that we ever did, Weatherboys. What do you mean?
Yeah, it was good.
What do you mean? That's why.
Yes. So that was like what I view or think of as like our pilot season. And it was, an abbreviated, like all pilot seasons are just abbreviated seasons.
Oh, so you said that until what, Christmas you're saying?
Yeah, September through December was season 1, the pilot season.
I see.
2024 was season 2. And then so now we are launching after the holidays and we're kicking off a very busy 2025, season 3 of the Weatherboys. Can you believe it?
I can kind of get behind that logic. It's a little janky, but it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, well, I'll take it.
All right.
But what's very exciting is we got a new studio here. It is not entirely ours. In fact, it's not.
It's not
at all.
No, thank you, Jay Towers. In the morning.
So we're in, Jay's lending us his studio so we can finally get good audio.
Yeah.
And we still have video for those people that like to watch it. But if you don't watch it, say you just listen to it in your car, because we are now on Spotify.
Yeah, right?
That's
look at
huge.
That's big. Look at that. Big deal. I mean, we had to what? Like, what contract did they finally give us?
Oh, we can't talk about it.
We can't. It's yeah.
We're not allowed. We have an NDA that we signed.
Sure.
Did you sign yours?
I did.
It's still on your desk.
It's on my desk. Yep.
Yeah. So we're on Spotify, and we wanted to give people the option to like listen to us as you're driving or you're cleaning, whatever it is that people do.
Doing. Yeah.
And they do podcasts.
Sure.
So we're wrapping up 2024, and we would be remiss if we didn't at least acknowledge the New Year's Eve party that the Weatherboys were a part of.
Oh, it was fantastic. Masonic, what a night. That was the first New Year's Eve I've stayed up for since I don't know when.
I've never been a New Year's Eve fan. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
I think it is now.
It has to be now. That's the problem. Yeah, you're changing who you are.
Yeah.
At this very moment.
So what happened was our bosses came to us and said, hey, we want to do a live New Year's Eve show. There are no live Detroit New Year's Eve shows, and we want to be the first one, and we think the Weatherboys would be a fun addition to the show.
And we thought like, oh my gosh, we're very special. They want us to do this. And then after thinking about it, come to find out everyone else was busy.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, who wants to laugh? This was like 2 weeks before New Year's Eve.
They asked like 100 other people.
Who would want to give up your plans to work? But we did, and it was great, and I'm happy we did, Derek.
Yeah, you know who doesn't have plans? The Weatherboys didn't have plans. So we were part of it. Roop and Taryn were there, and
Bree and Jamie, man.
Jamie were there. Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
Fun time.
It was loud, man. My ears were dead for days after that.
Yeah.
Done.
We during our stories, we've often had custom T-shirts made, custom headbands made. So what would a New Year's Eve party be if the Weatherboys didn't have at least one custom item? And we had a big one. And I got it here. If you're listening to this, you're not going to see it, but I'll try to
just think velvet.
I'll try to wax poetic. It's a velvet here. Alan, you explain while I hold it up so I don't bang
velvet, and the inside is like an Alice in Wonderland dream. You know what I mean? Like that's like and then the outside, and this without the bedazzles looked fantastic. But then of course, Christina, I mean, just took this up several notches, and she put, so you have weather on one lapel,
yeah,
and then you have boys on the other lapel,
yeah,
and then the weather actually lights up.
I'm trying to get it to light up right now.
Yeah,
the battery must be dead.
Yeah, perhaps.
Oh,
no, you were that's okay. You were very good on that New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You had it down.
It was so nice of Christina to take the time to.
It looked good.
People talked about it all night long.
Looks great. Looks great, actually. It's not in the past, and we'll be wearing that next year.
The finishing touch was, of course, Alan, can you demonstrate to the folks that are watching us?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, top hat.
The top hat, yeah.
Yeah, like a real,
Yeah,
a very Mr. Peanut kind of look.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the top hat didn't work good with the headphones, but we had it on occasion. Yeah, it was good.
We looked good. We sounded good. We had a great time. And that wrapped up season 2, obviously, of Weatherboys. And now season 3 begins, and we have already taped our first story.
Yes, taped, written, in editing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know when this thing is going to air, so I'm not really sure.
No, you're right. You're accurate.
Yeah.
It's in editing.
In editing right now. And that sucker's hitting the airwaves soon.
Here's a tease for you, by the way, and it's a great one. This particular thing that we did was the most exhausting, tiring, and perhaps physically exhausting Weatherboys shoot that I have ever done.
Yeah, no, it was. And we put on real armor on a 70-degree day, full sunshine. And this might have been harder. It was at least up there. It was close to that one.
I was more exhausted with this than I was with that. That was a close second, but this one was so exhausting.
Roller derby with Robin Murdoch.
Oh, and you just said it.
Gosh.
I said we're going to tease it. You just said it,
No,
didn't
I
you?
was tricking him. That's not really what we did.
Tricking him?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Oh, so the audience is expected to believe that we're not doing that.
No, why would I do that? Why would
After
I
you just
undo your
told
tease?
them.
Why would I undo your tease
Jesus.
that you just did?
We're doing roller derby.
One day, maybe not. It might not be this time. We're not really sure.
I love you, buddy.
Who knows?
What else is going on before we go into our guest today? Because that's the other thing about season 3 of the Weatherboys podcast is we are going to have a special guest on every week, and these are going to be important community guests. Some of them are going to be national, maybe international guests. Everybody,
For sure.
If we find them interesting, we're gonna interview them and put them on the podcast here, and we hope you will as well. But before that,
yes,
what's going on with you? Home life, kids? You got a sick kid or something?
That sick kid, yeah. So you had one of those, it was at 3 a.m. A midnight sickness emerged, and it
Classic.
sucks. Like you gotta. Who do I call? I call the manager at 3 a.m. At 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You got to call him and wake him up and be like, hey, I don't know, man. I can't come into work. And then I know it's going to impact you and Lori. And but they're good. They're good now. It was one of those things where like by noon she was fine. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock she was back in school. I'm like, you're going to school for an hour, ma'am.
Do you know what's funny about our jobs is, and I've told my wife this legit, I said, if I ever get in a car accident or like a big accident or something, call number 1 is 911, of course. Call number 2 is to Alan.
Oh, for sure.
Because we have the kind of job where like somebody has to be doing the weather.
Right.
And so it impacts somebody else when you're off, which is why in a small department like ours, it's kind of hard.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't make up the work at a later time. The work has to happen in the moment when your leg is broken in the car, Derek.
Yeah.
And it's on me. And you ended up working several hours after.
Yeah,
so I'm very appreciative.
No, that's okay. I'm glad that your daughter is feeling better. It's funny how it always happens in the middle of the night. Nobody's ever sick at like noon.
No, that would be so easy. Okay, she's fever. Plan accordingly, everybody. It's on you.
Yeah,
but no, she's good. All is well. I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about our future. We have so many ideas and plans. Well, can we say who the guest is coming up? I don't even know.
Let's get to the guest first because he is a very exciting man and he is a big name around town.
Yeah, he is.
We're talking about Matt Pepper. He is the president and CEO of the Michigan Humane Society, and we have been working with them on potentially getting together to do a Weatherboys story.
Yes.
So we wanted to have Matt join the podcast and talk a little bit about the history of his life as well as Michigan Humane. Take a listen. Okay, this is very exciting. We so in the spirit of the new design for the podcast,
yep.
It's important we're bringing on a very special guest.
Yeah, we are. The guy.
The man, the myth, the legend, Michigan Humane Society's president and CEO, Matt Pepper is here. Matt, hello.
Hello. I'm glad to be here and break in the new studio.
Look at this guy. First one here.
The very
first one here.
How do you feel about that?
I feel very special. Very special.
As you should.
I will tell you guys' hair is better in person than it is on TV.
See,
I'm really
look at that.
embarrassed.
What a guy. I don't even have my headband on right now.
This guy's hair, I'll tell you, he pretends like it's all free flowing and natural, like he doesn't care. He put some time into this.
You know what I do? I don't shower. I'm a 2-shower guy.
My kids do that same thing.
Yeah, for sure. A little dry shampoo goes a long way.
He uses the dry shampoo sometimes when he intends to use the hairspray, and he's like, "Why is this not working?"
That's true. This is true.
Oh,
this is very true. Yeah,
grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah.
Matt, introduce yourself. It's great to have you here. You are a very integral, important part of Southeast Michigan.
what we do here, like as a state. Like what you guys do is amazing. Tell us a little bit about your role and what you do within the Michigan Humane Society.
Yeah, so I'm honored to be the president and CEO for Michigan Humane, which is the largest and oldest animal welfare organization in the state of Michigan. So we started in 1877, and we started at that time working with horses, which at that time were much more common than they are now. They were carriage and transport and everything in between. And then our other job that we had was women and children, the subject of domestic violence. And a lot of people don't think of Michigan Humane as that kind of work. They think of us as what you see now, our animal shelters and our veterinary clinics and our work in the community. But all of that work is to improve the human condition. So we still do a lot of that work today, both working with law enforcement, working with domestic violence shelters, all that stuff in between. But really what you know us for is the 10,000 animals that come through our doors every year and the 100,000 in the community. So it's just it's incredible to be a part of an organization that gets to channel the community's passion.
And I love how you guys trick us into getting the pets. Because you guys like foster. I've fostered 2 dogs, and it's like every time the first time I fostered, I had no idea actually. It's like, oh, we'll just do this thing. Well, I'm just gonna have this dog for
about a month,
maybe a week, 2 weeks. It'll be super cute, and then I'm just gonna like see it goodbye. No, man, that thing's in your house for a day. It's not leaving.
It never happens.
It never happens.
No.
But it's genius because if you there's an idea of a pet as like a hassle because it does take work, but the pros. Your heart is full, and that's worth everything.
It's funny that you bring that up because most people, I think of pets as like this nice to have. Most people in this country, 70% of Americans have pets, and it's not a might have or a should have. They're part of the family, and they become. So our foster programs are a great example. We have a couple thousand families in our names, and you might ask me, why don't I have a couple thousand pets in foster home? It's because they only last one time, and then they have adopting, and they're off the list. So that's a common. We have a real good product that we can trick people into.
Yeah, it's the best kind of trick.
Yep.
So a lot of what you guys do now is the adoption process. But what people don't know is there are a lot of other things that you guys do with the community. You talked a little bit about that, but dig more into that.
Yeah. So I too think sometimes we get pigeonholed as just dogs and cats, and it's really neat and it's nice. The reality is people in this community, in anywhere, make life decisions based on their pets. So I can tell you, when early in my career was a first responder to Hurricane Katrina, and I know of people who died because they refused to leave their pets behind.
Sure.
And I always tell this story is, why is our organization so human-centered? There was a story, I was working security in Tylertown, Mississippi after the floods, and a gentleman was walking up. He was a young African-American guy. He had a ripped up jeans, shirt was covered in mud and blood, and he's carrying this beautiful white dog. And his story was that the National Guard came knocking on his door and said, you got to leave. And he goes, okay, well, let me get my dog. And at that time, dogs weren't a part of emergency response plans. So the National Guard was, nope, no dogs, leave your dog, let's go. And he said, nope. And he went and hid from the National Guard, grabbed his dog and hid. And a couple days later, he was found after the water eventually forced him onto his roof, where he stood 3 days in New Orleans sun, holding his dog on a hot tin roof, waiting for someone to save him. And that man chose to die rather than give up his pet. And so when we think about our pets' role in our lives, our organization is focused on, they're not a nice to have. They're a critical part of our life. We're more active, we're more engaged. People are more likely to be in a community where there's things to do with their pets. And if you're in your 20s, you're buying a house based on the dog you might get, rather than family or kids or school districts.
Oh, for sure. Try renting a house with a pet. I mean, that is such a pain in the butt. Like, it's not an easy thing. It's wild to hear you say, but what would you say, in 2005?
Yeah.
This was the protocol was not to allow them to take the pets. That seems so wild to my 2025 brain.
Yeah.
Like, how quick things can change.
They changed immediately after that because there were people who died. There were people who chose to die rather than leave their pet behind. And if you think about folks who maybe have different experiences than us, and their pets might be all they have.
Sure.
Their only connection to community, their only connection to something that gives them some love. And sometimes, again, I think we think of them as these nice things that are in our lives. No, they're a critical part of our lives. And people choose to give up their own health and safety for that of their pets.
It's an interesting, anybody who has had a dog or a cat, or does currently have a dog or a cat, they know just how much that means to them and to their family. And when they experience a loss of that pet, it feels like you've lost a family member.
Yep.
But there's science behind animals where, like, when you come home and you pet your dog, your dopamine levels rise, as does the dog. But in the human, your happiness level chemically increases just by simply having a contact with an animal.
Yep. Your blood pressure reduces 10% by petting a dog for 10 minutes. And there are serious physical benefits to having a pet, both emotionally and physically. And we have one of our board members, Margaret Trimmer with Delta Dental, who's really involved in human health. We always talk about, we have this vision that one day there's going to be fur over pharma, that people with maybe some emotional issues, maybe anxiety, depression, we might find a dog be adopted rather than these pharmaceuticals that we're all so enamored with.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a catchy slogan. Fur over pharma. I'm voting 2025.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Kind of want it right now.
For sure.
Tell us a little bit about what the Michigan Humane Society needs, though. So things change over time. It's 2025. What you guys need in 2025 is different than what you needed in 2020.
Yeah.
So now, what is it looking forward that you say we're looking ahead of the future, and this is what the path looks like for us?
Yeah, well, I think it's continuing to build on our partnership. So we are a unique animal welfare organization where we have probably more partnerships with health and human service partners than we do necessarily animal welfare partners. So a great example is our pet food pantry, which is one of, if not the largest in the country, 2.3 million pounds of pet food to 12,000 families. And we're co-housed at Gleaners, the human food insecurity organization, and Jerry Brisson and Forgotten Harvest and Adrian Lewis have been incredible partners in understanding that if we're not involved, people are going to give their human food to their pets first.
Sure.
And we've actually asked them. This is
Yeah.
not just us thinking this happens. These are studies that are done around the country. And so now that we're involved, we've realized there's other ways that we have really unique access into people's lives. So I think it's continuing to not see us as an animal welfare organization, but seeing us as something that is impacting the quality of life for everyone. But I think it's donations, it's volunteering, it's fostering, it's being a voice. If you see something, say something, and be an advocate for animals in our community.
And I gotta say, when you think about volunteering, you think about like taking your time and your energy. But and this is so cheesy. It's so dumb.
He's
and so
gonna
cheesy.
say something
but
dumb.
it's so true. Like when I volunteered at a humane society in the past, and like, man, that fills your cup up.
Yep.
Right? You know what I mean? I know it's your time, your energy, but you get out of there, man. That dog, that gives to you. That cat, that gives to you. It's a beautiful thing.
We have more than 1,000 volunteers that are active in our organization, and we get more than 100,000 hours every year. We have people who are there every day doing anything but from socializing cats to walking dogs to working in our behavior department to folding papers and stuffing
that's what I
envelopes.
did. I would walk dogs. I would come and like, what are you trying? It's like being a grandparent. You can come in and leave whenever you're done.
I'm just chuckling at the idea that you need to socialize cats because that fits my cat narrative. I'm a dog person myself.
same.
I mean, I have been surrounded by cats with family members, and I always have the same story, which is like people say that their cat is good when they say, it's just like a dog, you'll love it.
Yeah.
I said, well, if you're going to say your cat is just like a dog, just
go
get a dog.
Yeah,
just go get a dog. Well, that's funny, the socialized cats. Can I pull us off this for just 1 second? I want to talk about you.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your story. How did you get here? Because you said you were down in Louisiana, Mississippi. Were you living down there, just working down there?
I'm from Grand Rapids initially.
Yeah, West Side.
And I was, that's right. Coopersville, right?
Yeah.
Hudsonville right here.
He's a big fan of St. Joe's on the western side.
Can you tell him to stop
I'm a
calling it
little
St.
more
Joe's?
Grand Haven. St. Joe's is fine. I like
Yeah.
Grand
Yeah.
Haven. I like
He
Holland.
hates it when I call it St. Joe's. He prefers St.
St.
Joseph.
Joseph, just call it the thing that it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I agree with that.
Okay.
And also Holland makes the ice cream, not Hudsonville, just so we're aware.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was in Grand Valley. I went to Grand Valley State, started in advertising and public relations, and I recognized that this is not what I wanted to do with my life. My dad was a pretty successful executive, and he worked so that we could do what we wanted to do. And so I changed my major from advertising and public relations to wildlife biology, much to his chagrin. I think he thought it was going to be something different. Went into wildlife biology and then got into animal cruelty investigations from there. Did a little bit of law enforcement work. So I was an animal cruelty investigator on the West Side. Then I was an animal control supervisor for Kent County for a while. And then I followed my career in my family around the country. We went to Louisiana. From there, I
lived in New Orleans for 4 years.
Oh, I love New Orleans. I was in Shreveport. I was Caddo Parish.
Oh, Shreveport. Okay. Yeah. I like this. So that's Northwest, right?
Northwest, right?
Yeah.
Texarkana. That's right.
Texarkana.
New Orleans is a great city. Hell yeah.
Look at you guys.
We had hey, I'm with St. Joseph too.
I know.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're all going to hang out. We're going to buy a house together, and all three of us move in. We're clearly connected.
For sure.
I like this. Hey, we won't have cats involved. I have
Just
to wait
dogs.
and make sure I like cats.
Right.
I have to pretend everybody knows I like them. But anyways, from there I was a cruelty investigator. Went to Shreveport, Louisiana, was a director of animal services in mosquito control. Then I was a director in Memphis Animal Services. And then I was director of animal service in Bernalillo County in Albuquerque. And this was a chance to come home. So if you want to do something in animal welfare and you really want to change the face of an industry and think about it more as human-centered work, there's no better place to do it than Detroit. And there's no better place to do it than at Michigan Humane, because we have a huge support system, a community who really, I think too often we think of, these pets tied up outside, and we think of Detroit as a community that doesn't love its pets. Completely untrue. There are people who are so passionate about their pets. They just got other things in their lives they're struggling with. But I ended up here, and I could never see myself leaving. This is a great community. This is a great organization. What we do every day changes lives, and that's not something everybody gets to say.
I'm just thinking about your path. So Southwest, Albuquerque, so a little Breaking Bad, and then down in Louisiana, a little bit of what was the Matthew McConaughey HBO show? Where True Detective.
Yeah.
So you just follow. It's just, I don't know. I'm just thinking television.
Sure, and then
shows.
Detroiters, I suppose, is what we have here, right? I guess, yeah.
So I got to tell you,
Well, I thought we
we're
gotta
in
keep following
Albuquerque
that.
one time. My wife goes out for a book club and she takes a selfie, and I go, "Did you get his autograph?" And I go, "What?" And it's all the Bryan Cranston sitting behind her staring, and then she didn't know who he was.
Oh, she had no idea.
No idea who he was.
Walter White himself.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, well, we gotta let you go. This is a very busy man.
Yeah,
we
for
can't,
sure.
We can't hold him for too much
Absolutely.
longer.
Puppies and cats need us.
Yeah, that's true. Anything that you want to get in there for Michigan Humane Society before we let you go? Anything you want to say? A website, a place where people can go to find out more information?
Yeah, please go to michiganhumane.org. Call 866-MHumane. If you see something, say something, and if you need help, call us. We're here to help you.
And well, can I say before we go, I think you guys are going to take us on a little.
We are.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going for a little ride here soon.
There's no more exciting view of the city of Detroit and its people than going out with my cruelty investigators, and we're gonna love to have you.
The Weatherboys
Weatherboys,
solve some cruelty crimes. Mm-hmm. Well, that will be the equivalent of the
It's like the
Breaking
Hardy
Bad
Boys.
or the
Hardy
True
Boys. No, I
Detective.
love it.
It'll be the
Yes.
Hardy Boys.
Great. Or Nancy Drew, whatever.
Yeah, either one, whatever you want.
All right, we'll get that on the books. In the meantime, I'll send you guys some Zillow links for houses that we can buy so we can all move in together and we can keep
like
this
this.
As long as
romance
we can call it a
alive.
commune, yeah.
Okay. All right. Matt, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So there is Matt Pepper. What a guy.
What a guy.
Nice guy. Good-looking
fantastic.
guy, too,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, and he could just take it away. I mean, he didn't need us.
Yeah, we could have just been like, hey, you have 10 minutes, start
Talk,
talking.
and then you're good to go. Yeah. And now here's the question, though. We got to figure out what we're going to do with them eventually. Is it the ride along, or do we go adopt a dog for a day?
Yeah, I kind of like the second
I agree,
one.
too, for sure. That is way, a way different vibe. I think a more appropriate vibe for the Weatherboys theme.
Right, and it's kind of like he talked about, too, is there is some legit, like, biological science that happens when you're around an animal
Oh, for
where
sure.
you feel better. I'd love to just bring the dog into the Fox 2 newsroom. I mean, we got a good vibe in there already.
Yeah.
But that'd be nice.
Do we?
Yes.
I know we do. Of course we do. Of course, it's fantastic in there. I agree.
Starting rumors.
Yeah, no, we're good. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be great.
Okay, so this season it is early in the year, early February. We've got things lined up. Do you want to give the audience a little preview of what we have this year that we want to do?
Well, now I can tell them the big news derby that we did roller derby.
No, don't.
We did roller derby,
That's
and
fine,
that's exciting. And yeah, what's after that? Michigan Humane,
Yep.
and then after that, I really want to do improv situation.
Yep.
I want to get this guy right here, Derek Kever, on the stage, on an actual stage in front of a live audience to do a little improv.
Yes,
and the one I
and-
want to do is actually called hip-prov, and there's rapping involved.
Oh, jeez.
Rapping.
Honestly, the improv sounds fun. The rapping,
Yeah,
I'm going to embarrass
for sure.
myself,
It's a terrifying thing.
as
yeah.
I've done with every Weatherboy story.
This
to
is
date.
this is a unique embarrassment, though. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it, like rapping.
This is when you're on stage. That nightmare that people have where you show up to school naked.
Yep.
That's what it is.
For sure.
Because there's nothing you can do about it, and
Nope.
everybody is watching you.
And they all have their phones. It's all recording now. So,
This is making
that'll
me
be
anxious.
fun. But it's with the Detroit Creativity Project, and they're a wonderful, wonderful group of folks who are doing some, real game-changing work.
And you may remember last year we went to an elementary school and served the youth. What we want to do this year is we want to take the opposite end of that spectrum.
Do we want the youth to serve us?
the
Do we want
age-
them to bring us lunch? Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
What is it?
Interesting.
We want to go to like a senior center, and we have some questions for them about life and what's
That's true.
important.
That's true.
And so we're
Love
gonna
questions.
love questions. We're gonna go do that.
Ah, yes.
And one that I have been setting up and thinking about, maybe not actively working on, but I've been thinking
do tell.
about.
Great. Oh, wonderful. That sounds hard.
It is a sport that is internationally known
Oh, wow. What is it?
that there is a subculture here in Metro Detroit that many people don't know about.
Interesting.
Can I say it?
I'm afraid to say anything for fear of your wrath.
Cricket.
Yeah, for
Cricket.
sure. We're doing cricket.
I very badly want to go do cricket, and
Absolutely.
and the season begins coming up in the late spring, early summer, and so we're gonna go do it.
We're gonna do it. It's very confusing to me because I see cricket being played around me in my home, random parks and stuff, and it's like I don't know. Yeah, and their scores are always like 1,000 to 2,000.
Yes.
And I'm being a little ridiculous there, but they're high scoring.
Yeah,
I feel.
I'm excited to do all of those. Hey, before we go,
What do you mean? Where you got to go? I'm not done.
well, you got to get back. We've got other duties, weather boy. You
do you
got to
want?
go on TV and
What do you
do
want?
the actual weather.
All right.
Did I tell you a story? I didn't tell you this yet. I signed the kids up for baseball.
Yeah.
Cricket made me think of this.
Sure.
So I signed the kids up for baseball because they both want to play. I was very shocked at the cost of all of this.
Oh boy.
So
For baseball, it's just a bat and ball.
for baseball, so each kid, $115. Very reasonable.
Yeah, that's not bad.
As you're signing up, they tack on a $100 raffle ticket fee.
What does that mean?
You prepay for $100 worth of 50-50 raffle tickets, so they don't have to sell them at the game. You've already bought $100. You can choose to sell them to friends and family if you want,
Oh.
or you eat the cost yourself.
Oh boy.
Then, as you're going to the end of the form, do you wish to volunteer as coach? If not, another $100.
Whoa.
So-
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
So, two children.
$600.
Now, thank God I want to coach.
Yeah.
But if you didn't want to coach or you had to work,
Yeah.
think that's $600.
Well, good thing you have a gambling problem. You're going to buy at least $100 worth of raffling tickets.
I hate.
So
I
you're fine.
don't like gambling.
You're you kidding me? You degenerate.
But what I don't like more than gambling is trying to hawk things off on friends and family.
Oh,
so
for
I will
sure.
eat the cost of all of that.
Oh, my
But if
gosh.
you signed up, bought the raffle, and did not have the ability to volunteer,
Yeah.
holy cow!
You want to come live with me for a couple months? Rent out Airbnb your house?
By the way, that's
Yeah.
only April to June. That's only 3 months.
3 months. What are you going to do in the
And
fall?
it's late April, so
Yeah.
it's truly only like 10 weeks.
And plus, what if they don't even like it and they quit?
Well, no, we tell them they can't.
Oh.
Do you do this with your kids? If they
What's
sign
that?
up for something, they have to.
Oh,
They're
no,
committing
I
to
let
it?
him quit. Are you kidding me? I let him get out of there. You're fine.
Do you really?
For sure. 100%.
My wife does too.
Yeah.
Melissa's happy
I'm
to
like,
say
yeah, it's
they
fine.
don't like it, and I'm like, no, they signed up for this.
Yeah.
They thought about it. They committed to it. They're part of a team. They can't
For
quit.
sure. I mean, I'll try to reason with them to stay, but if they don't want to, and some would just say I'm just a pushover. Don't do parenting. Be a parent. Do the hard thing. Maybe, I guess. I always find it hard to talk about parenting because it's like our kids aren't grown yet. So once they're grown and they're adults, then I can be like, haha.
No, this is the best time to talk about it. It's all hypothetical.
I know, but like I don't want to put. I would never put my parenting on someone else. I don't know if mine's right. You don't know if yours is right.
No,
we'll never
we don't know.
We might never know. We could say once they're older,
I will
don't
tease
know.
this. I'll tease this. We have been working hard on setting up this podcast as well as the stories. We do have a parenting expert who has some pretty radical beliefs. And he's going to come join us on the show later in the spring specifically. And that's going to be that's going to be like an hour-long podcast.
Yeah, he has changed. I haven't read the whole book yet, and I have not implemented all of it because it is. I mean, he'll admit it is radical, but I've implemented 10 to 20% of it. It has changed my life for the better. I can't even tell you how much better my life is with my kids.
And what's
just 10 to 20%. It's fantastic.
What is wild about it is when he told me about it, I was like, that is insane and crazy, and don't do it.
I've rarely seen Derek get riled up. Oh, he was chomping at the bit. He was
Do not do this, Alan. And then he does it, and we'll talk about that later this season.
And
on the
to be
podcast.
clear, that hard work that with booking him was you sent him a message on Twitter?
Yeah,
And then he said yes.
like pretty much right away. Yeah,
It's just shocking to me how easy some of these things are.
I know.
We're like, there's no way we can get that person. There's no way. Can you do this? Yeah.
yeah. I reached
What?
out. I
Are you
reached out to an international. He's an international motivational speaker, and there's no way he's gonna do. Yeah, sure. What day? I was like, holy cow.
Why not?
Well, it's the Weatherboys' name.
That's what it's the Weatherboys hats and headbands. No, it's the Weatherboys. Why aren't we wearing a Weatherboys headband?
Should we be wearing those for all the things?
We gotta redo
should.
this. Cut it. Don't
Cut.
save this. Starting from scratch. Yes, we should.
All right, everybody, tune in next week. We will be doing our best to release Weatherboys podcast episodes every week. And then you can tune in, of course, to Fox 2 News to listen to and watch the Weatherboys stories and adventures themselves. We'll see you all next week. Bye.